Welcome, I'm Bev Adams. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! I'd like to show you this card today. It's got a little bit of a fancy fold to it. I used Crafting Forever, and for my greetings I used a note of thanks from Thankful Thoughts, and I love that it's a note for the pens, but I thought it would also be fun to use the thank you from Vertical Greetings, which is on page 50. My card base is the new Very Vanilla Thick cardstock. Yay! I couldn't wait to get my hands on this. I have cut it kind of an odd size. It's 8.5 by 4 1/4, and then I've scored it at 5.5 and cut this piece in half. This would be 3 inches. So I've cut it at 1.5, and that gives me my 2 panels. Watercolor paper comes 6 by 9, so I've cut my watercolor paper in fourths, so this is 3 by 4.5, and I have a piece of Tempting Turquoise that's 3 1/4 by 4 3/4, and then I have 2 pieces of gold foil that's 1 1/4 by 4. And I'm using a layer of the watercolor paper. Now this paper is pretty heavy, and it is actual watercolor paper. I do want to be sure to use the embossing buddy on this project. You will be glad you did. I'm using Versamark ink, and stamp your pens right in the middle. Pull in a piece of scratch paper, and I'm going to dust this with gold embossing powder. Flick off any extra and return it to the tub. I like to keep a little brush handy so that if I get something extra here, like there's a little dog hair or something, bring in my heat tool and turn that powder to shiny gold. This does get hot, so I am trying to keep my fingers away from it. Now, bringing back in the lid of my Versamark and adding just a drop. This ink is really thick and sticky. I'm using my aqua painter, but I really don't want to use much in the way of water. I really just want to use it as a brush. And I'm brushing on Versamark ink wherever I want my pens to be white. Now you can brush a lot or a little. Totally up to you. The hardest part of this is keeping track of which stripe you're on. But if you skip one, it really is not going to matter. Because you really can't see what you're doing here. There is a little bit of shine to the Versamark. Bringing back in my scrap paper and dusting with clear embossing powder this time. And the Magic Heat Tool. The clear is a little bit harder to see it turn shiny, even in real life. And I already have a few drops in here, but I'm using a Stampin' Spritzer. I'm putting about, I think 10 drops. And you can add either water or alcohol. Alcohol will certainly help it dry faster. Put the cap on. Oh, I got it pretty full. So I definitely should have given myself a little bit more space. And be sure to shake this up. And I'm using just a wood mount case to protect my work surface. Be sure and spray away from you. Spritz. And using another paper towel to absorb a little bit of that extra. It will curl a bit, don't worry. As that dries, it will flatten out. Meanwhile, I'm going to work on the rest of my card. So I have two strips of gold foil. These are 1 1/4 by 4. And I'm just putting these on my panel. And I see I do need to use my bone folder. I just mounted it on some Tempting Turquoise. That is 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. And I think I'm going to try and make my card horizontal this time. So I put fast fuse on just about 1 inch on either side. And I just want to put this even with the edge of the card and just close the card. And I'm using Tempting Turquoise ink to stamp a note of thanks here. And I think I probably put my pens on left-handed, didn't I? I'll have to send it to a left-handed person. A note of thanks, and then I have plenty of room to write inside. So, what do you think? Do you think it goes this way or this way? And you could actually write your card this way too. It can go any direction you want. So if you would like the directions for this card and a link to all the products that I used with it, come on over to bevadams.com. I'd be very proud to be your demonstrator, and I have frequent shopper points so you can earn free products. Talk to you soon. Bye.